أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. إنه من يهدي الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا. والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. I want to use this opportunity to welcome everyone again to the 7th in the series of MUNFIQ Islamic Finance Mentorship training sessions. We give thanks to Almighty Allah, who has been seeing us through all this while, and we pray that Allah continue to make it easy for us and accept this from each and every one of us as an act of ibadah. For the knowledge that has been shared with us so far by the mentors, we pray Allah to make it beneficial for each and every one of us. And we want to sincerely thank all our mentors for their sacrifice and volunteering. We pray Allah, who has the best of reward, to reward them for all they have been doing for us. And for all the mentees, we pray that this mentorship is of great benefit to us in this world and the year after. And I also want to appreciate the support from all the management of the MUNFIQ mentorship scheme, as well as all the volunteers. I pray Allah to accept from each and every one of us as an act of ibadah. As we are about to start today's session, we start in the name of Allah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الرحمن الرحيم. مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Amen. Today, by Allah's grace, we are going to have yet another important session where we are going to be taken through and exposed to another very important aspect of Islamic finance, which is Islamic insurance, technically known as Takaful. Today, we are going to be exposed to the practice of Islamic insurance in terms of the opportunities and professional requirements if one should choose to specialize in the field of Islamic Takaful. So what does it take? What is required for one to be able to do that? And we are also very privileged once again today to have one of the seasoned professional who is a practitioner in the field of Islamic insurance. And not only in the field of Islamic insurance, he has had a previous experience even in the field of the general insurance. So it's about the best hand that we could have to have a session as this. And I believe that we are so privileged to have him, and we pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to reward him so abundantly for all his support so far, and for all the support that he will still be giving us. So we have the honor and privilege to have with us today no other person than our brother from the Gambia, the Republic of Gambia, which is popularly known as the Gambia. I remember the first time I got to learn that Gambia is not just pronounced Gambia like we do pronounce other countries. If you want to say Nigeria, you say Nigeria. But in terms of a country, they will always say they. Gambia. So I hope we understand why that is so today. So the only country which I know so far that when you want to call it, you have to put D, which is the Gambia. So which means that in Arabic, it will even be called Al-Gambia, or so to say. So our mentor today and facilitator is our brother, Mr. Muhammadu Musa Jove. He holds MA, MD in MD. So Mr. Muhammadu Jove is simply a house name in the West African insurance industry, having worked at various levels for over 28 years and making significant contribution to its development. Prior to joining Jaiz Takaful Insurance PLC Nigeria in 2016 as the Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer, he had been the pioneer MD, Chief Executive Officer of the Takaful Gambia Limited, which he founded as the first Takaful company in West Africa. Mr. Mamadou established the Takaful window for Phoenix Assurance of Zambia as Chief Operations Officer after he had worked for he has worked in different insurance companies. Mr. Mamadou holds a master's degree in management from International Islamic University, Malaysia, which he bagged in 2005 after successfully completing an impressive dissertation on Takaful titled A Proposed Model for Islamic Insurance Takaful in the Gambia. As an enthusiastic professional, he went through rigorous technical pieces of training on Takaful Insurance in Takaful, Malaysia, and Al-Huda Center of Islamic Banking and Economics, Pakistan, where he obtained a certified Takaful professional diploma. For his demonstrated formidable passion for the development of Islamic finance and Takaful Islamic Insurance, in particular, Mr. Mamadou was awarded the Best Takaful Contributor at the 2016 Global Islamic Finance Forum held in Nairobi, Kenya. At the recent Africa Islamic Finance Awards on March 23, 2022, Mr. Mamadou won the award for Best Emerging Personality in African Islamic Finance. Mr. Mamadou, a senior member of the Chartered Insurance Institute of Nigeria, 2017, was conferred a fellow by the Institute of Islamic Finance Professional of Nigeria in 2017. He was bestowed with the African Leader for Excellence Award and the title Accolade Ambassador in 2017, making him to be recognized and his name registered in the Compendium of Distinguished Role Models in Nigeria, as per the Nigerian Role Models book, volume 2, page 40. Again, in March 2018, Mr. Mamadou has bestowed on him the Award of Excellence for promoting the Takaful industry in Africa. West Africa Takaful Limited began its operation in the Gambia in 2020 as Mr. Mamadou's latest brainchild with the vision of spreading to other West African countries. He established this company as his fourth Takaful establishment. He has published his book titled Evolution and Revolution of Takaful in West Africa and Beyond in July 2022. So it's my pleasure to invite this great personality and a symbol of Takaful Islamic Insurance in West Africa that we are so privileged to have to facilitate with us Islamic insurance opportunities and professional requirements. May Allah reward him abundantly, and may Allah preserve him upon goodness and grant him long life with a sound head. So we are so privileged to have you, Mr. Muhammadu. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu, Dr. Isola. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Allahumma salli ala sayyidina Muhammad wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala sayyidina Muhammad wa sallim. Allahumma salli wa sallim ala sayyidina wa nabina maulana Muhammad wa sallim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Jërëjëf Sëriñ Tuuba. Thank you, Brother Isola, for all the encouragement and motivation in presenting me. I didn't think I had that much to say about me. But first and foremost, we thank you very much indeed for all the efforts you have put into this venture. And we pray that the Almighty Allah will reward you and your team abundantly.
Amen.
We pray that the mentees would also benefit from this. And we learn from you that passion is everything. I mean, the time that you took to collate all this and to get us going is what is amazing to me. It was so short. And yet still you've got a cream of the professionals participating willingly and voluntarily and happily too. You asked a question about the Gambia. And we are saying the Portuguese who first explored the country named it after the river known as the River Gambia. Thus named it the Gambia in Portuguese. So when the British took over, they maintained the name the Gambia. I think that is answered.
Okay. So that's a first point of knowledge we have taken this morning.
Thank you. May Allah make it easy for all of us.
Amen.
We start today's session by looking at something that we hear every day and we read every day. First is to say Islam is a complete way of life. And by that, we can see that it could be broken down into faith and belief, which is Aqidah, Sharia practice and activities, then Akhlaq, moralities and ethics. Ibadah is the relationship between man to worship, man to God, that is when we worship. And then we have Muamalat, man-to-man activities. We realize that man-to-man activities would involve politics or political activities, economic activities, and social activities. The economic activities is where we find risk and management, which is Takaful. So from there we say, oh my God, what is happening? Takaful, are we there? Takaful ruled on the Sharia. We're saying, considering Islam is a way of life, scholars in Islam had to search and give guidance on issues relating to risk management and Takaful. They isolated Takaful as falling under practices and activities, that is Sharia, aspect of this.
Sorry, kindly unmute yourself. I try to mute all so that we can avoid distraction.
Well, have you been hearing me up to here?
Yes, we have been hearing you clearly.
Okay, all right. As defined, we say as defined in section 2, the Takaful Act 1984 this year. Takaful is based on brotherhood, solidarity, and mutual assistance, which provides for mutual financial aid and assistance to the participants in case of need whereby the participants mutually agree to contribute for that purpose. Please take note, the participants mutually agree to contribute for that purpose. I'm having difficulties. Okay, so therefore we say Takaful is nothing but insurance. That is insurance less the objectionable elements. Insurance by its practice would have been accepted by Islam, but for the fact that there is gharar, for the fact that there is maisir, for the fact that there is riba, Islam very much is objected to conventional practice. But with Takaful, we say Takaful is equals to insurance minus the objectionable elements. Why doesn't Islam accept conventional practice? We want to look at it as to say contract is not in line with Sharia. The good thing, Dr. Ishola, about this your program is where you're not confining mentors to time. We discuss relaxedly, and I take it that we must be thorough when we handle subjects so that some of us would leave that session understanding fully. I want to always leave that when I leave my presentation, those who attended fully would have had a very good idea and understanding of Takaful, because it's an obligation on all of us. So we are saying insurance. Why does Islam reject insurance? It says insurance business is based on buy and sell contract, not in accordance with the characteristics of buy and sell contract as required in Islam. What are my characteristics? He is a short boy. He is a Gambian. He is very vocal. He can sell Takaful to China. So what are the characteristics of buy and sell in Islam? Among it is what you're paying for, you must get on the spot at the right time, where the Quran would quote exchanging gold for gold, coups for coups, and all that. So these are the characteristics of buy and sell. But why is it not the case in insurance? It says the insurance company is acting as the seller and the policy holder is the buyer. You leave your house, you say, oh, madam, excuse me, I'm taking 30 minutes out, I want to go and buy insurance. That's what you say. But when you come back, your wife will say, where is your insurance? You show a piece of paper to say, that's the insurance. How much did you pay for it? Oh, I paid 10,000 naira. 10,000 in exchange of a piece of paper? So we are saying selling and buying of goods or services that do not exist. What have you bought? You say, madam, this is in case I have an accident tomorrow. Oh, so it means you are buying a promise. It's not something they can tangibly give to you now. You say, no, but those accidents happen every day, losses, fire, disasters, and all that. You say, all right, let's move on. Selling and buying of goods or services that exist, but unable to be delivered to the buyer. When such an accident occurs, the insurance company fulfilling its obligation would place you in the position you were before the loss. They will indemnify you. But, I mean, that is a promise. What about if it doesn't happen? Selling and buying of goods and services that exist and can be delivered to the buyer, that is when there is a loss, but not able to be determined, known, or its mode of quantum, exact time, you don't know. You buy your motor insurance, it's for 12 months. At the end of the 12 months, you come back to the insurance company. Oh, I want to renew my insurance. Oh, you've seen the doctor. Yes, you are a very good client. We're going to give you 15% discount. You're talking about giving me 15% discount from the 10,000 naira I paid last year. But what have you done for me? When I left your office last year with that piece of paper, until 365 days, I'm coming back to you. You've never even picked a telephone to call me. So there was no service in exchange of the 10,000 at all. And therefore we are saying, but on the other hand, if there was a loss, they will pay you. So you cannot determine when, if there is a loss, you pay 10,000 for a vehicle costing 1.2 million. So the costing of that vehicle, the costing of your premium was based on the value of the vehicle. But who tells them that one impact of an accident would not just be a broken windscreen, 2 headlights, or a bumper, not the total object, but yet still the cost was based on the sum insured. We go on, it says gharar. There is gharar in insurance. Due to its buy and sell transaction, the subject matter is not known. That 10,000 you paid, did you pay it against a 50,000 loss in 3 months, or against a broken windscreen, or a single room burning in the compound? The compound was valued for 3 million. They charge you a cost based on that 3 million. But when fire starts and the fire service comes to rescue you, it's possible that it is only one room which is affected, but yet still the costing was on the whole thing. So the subject matter of what you're paying for is not even known at the time you're paying. The question becomes, for how long, or how long would you continue to pay premiums without any benefit from insurance? That your new vehicle that you love so much, you don't want the kids to even scratch it. When you're leaving your house, you do your prayers to say, God, save me from any calamity or accident. But if you do not suffer an accident, you don't get the benefit of your insurance, conventional. So when would a claim occur, and what would be its quantum after an accident? We don't even know what the quantum would be. Will it be a windscreen? Will it be a bumper? Will it be a driver's door? The source of payment is not even known. Because of its lopsidedness in nature, resulting in injury or unjust loss to one side only. What does that mean? It means you pay 10,000. When you do not suffer a loss, again, you lose your 10,000. On the other hand, if you suffer a total loss, they are obligated to pay you 1.2 million. In that instance, they are the losers. So that contract of conventional, whatever way you're looking at it, is only benefiting one side, which is against Islam. What is gharar? Uncertainty of what is bought and expected. Uncertainty of what is bought and expected. What did you buy? Insurance. What does that insurance mean? You are buying a ticket to pay your 20,000 loss tomorrow or 30,000 loss. You don't know. There is uncertainty. Deception as what buyer feels at expiry. When you pay your 10,000, brother, at the end of the year, you enjoy no benefit from them. You feel deceived. It's deception. You feel disappointed. Risk, hazard of being ruined if events happen. What if they don't happen? Ignorance as the buyer does he bought, or the seller does not know what he sold. Today, we have such good terms as peace of mind, endowment, education, cushion, etc. All these are big use. Is it really peace of mind? That, yes, I go and sleep and snow. When there is anything, if I suffer any loss, the insurance is responsible, they will pay. So that, I mean, it is like really a contract based on buy and sell. You transfer your risk to them at the cost, at a cost. Gharar is leading to maisir. The uncertainty of the contract leading to the presence of maisir, or gambling element. Where we explain that you pay the 10,000 and you do not suffer a loss, you lose your 10,000. You suffer a loss, they end up paying you more than you paid them. Conventional underwriters would always say, oh, it was a good underwriting year, 2021, meaning they collected a lot of premiums, but paid very little claims. On the other hand, they say, oh, 2020 was a bad underwriting year, meaning they collected premiums, but they had big claims to settle. This is like a game of chance. It is not to say that insurance is gambling, but I leave you to decide. It's like a game of chance. The policyholder is hoping to receive huge proceeds from claims against small payment of premium. You paid 10,000 naira, but the sum insured was 1.2 million, meaning now that if you suffer a loss, this is what you expect: a huge claim settled out of a very small premium that you paid. The chances are that the policyholder loses all premiums paid at the end of the year when they suffer no losses. This is like a chance transaction. Profit or loss of insurer depends on the chance of misfortune happening, or otherwise they call it underwriting result. Riba in conventional insurance. It says investment of premium in riba-based financial instruments. For example, bearing accounts and conventional bonds. With conventional insurance, they owe you no explanation, or no, it is not an obligation on them to tell you where they invest their money. Your risk has been transferred to them at a cost, and it is assumed that that cost belongs to them. They do whatever they want to do with it. You are not concerned. So there is definitely riba. They may impose charges for late payment of premium and premium financing. You say you have a life policy with them where you pay every quarter 25,000 naira. For some reason, you felt hard up and did not pay for a complete year. When you come to pay, you realize that they have been increased because of your late payment, so they penalize you. Can the legal maxim, whatever leads to haram is haram itself, be applied here? What is the degree of percentage income? Provoking questions. When we look at the contract of Takaful, as opposed to what we just explained on conventional practice, we say we can see Takaful to be a two-tier contract, two levels, two contracts brought together, contracts of two different steps. First is a contract between the participants themselves. They don't want to get themselves involved with conventional insurance where there is riba, gharar, usury and all that. But they now say, what can we do? I live in this street, I have a house, all my neighbors have insured. Incidentally or unfortunately, there is a fire disaster which destroyed the 3/4 of the houses, including mine. 2 months down the line, you see all your neighbors rebuilding their houses. And you ask yourself, oh, where did are they getting money from? What are you told? Oh, they were insured. So the question, oh, I could not insure because of my religion. No, that is not true. Islam has everything that is to the virtue of mankind. So it depends on your limit of knowledge. You have to do a research. So researching about insurance, how would you have benefited? We say we come to this contract called Takaful, which composes of two tiers. A contract between the participants themselves. We are saying participant A, participant B, these participants have agreed to form a pool where the higher the risk you introduce to the pool, the more you contribute. My house is 1 million. I'm asked to pay 4,000 naira. Dr. Isola's house is 2 million. He is asked to contribute 8,000 naira in the pool. So we are contributing proportionately to our risk. Now, this contract is based on tabaru. You are giving for no condition. You're giving away your contribution, willingly giving it away to help all participants, including yourself. It's not buy and sell. It's now tabaru. We are together agreeing to contribute to this pool which belongs to all of us. The pool could be in the form of general takaful or family takaful. General takaful actually talks about everything non-life, ranging from your house, from your vehicle, from your importation and all that. Then family takaful has to do with every risk that is related to the human life. And this is where you have contribution towards child education, contribution towards retirement, endowments, and all that. So that is it. Participants get into the pool for a different purpose. You are in by way of general or you are in by way of family. That is one agreement there. You can see that that is a contract by itself. Participants' obligation to the pool. I hope this is clear. We go on to say the second part is contract between participants and the Takaful operator, TO, Takaful operator. There is a contract between these participants and the Takaful operator. What they have agreed is that the Takaful operator may enter into a wakala contract for managing the fund for the participants. Are we together? Is it so far so clear as we are going, please? Doctor? Doctor, am I being clear?
Yes, we are following.
Okay. So that now, this is a wakala contract for managing the fund by the Takaful operator. With the wakala contract, they are being paid a fee to manage the fund. They are paid an upfront fee for the management of the pool. So part of the income goes straight to the Takaful operator. It could be 30%, it could be 20%, it could be 40%. But if this is taken, the rest goes to the pool. It could also be a contract based on mudaraba, which is profit sharing, that they manage the pool to the end of the period. Whatever profit is realized, a pre-agreed percentage is given to the Takaful operator. By the way, when I say Takaful operator, it means the operator, its shareholders, you know, that is that group of operator. So they may also enter into any other commercial contract not forbidden by Sharia. Separation of accounts. The shareholders fund, the policyholders fund. Remember, with conventional, they have just one account. So the profit that is made at the end of the year is for shareholders. Even though the money was not from shareholders, the income or the revenue was not from shareholders, the profit goes to shareholders. But here with Takaful, we are having two separate funds. With Takaful, you go to GT Bank, Jais will have two accounts. You go to Akel Bank, Jais will have two accounts. These accounts are either shareholders fund or the policyholders fund. The shareholders fund started up with a paid up capital, reserves are attributable to shareholders. Profit on the investment of capital belongs to the shareholders. Such proportion of the investment profit generated by the investment of the policyholders fund and technical and other reserves as attributed to them. You would have said, as operator, we are taking 20% of contribution or premium coming in, but your 80% of the pool, when it is invested, the returns will further be shared between participants and shareholders. That is where it says such proportion of investment profit generated. Now, the policyholder fund will have insurance premiums received. We don't call premiums in Takaful, it's just for your understanding, but we say insurance contributions received. Whatever percentage is agreed to be for the participants, which is policyholder, is actually banked into their account. claims received from reinsurance or Takaful. When you settle a claim, that portion of the claim that reinsurance pays comes back not to shareholders, but it goes back into the participant's account. Such proportion of the investment profits attributable to policyholders as may be allocated to them by the board of directors. We invested 80% of the fund. The returns on investment are shared as explained when we are dealing with the shareholders fund. Salvage and recoveries. You've paid Dr. Ishola a comprehensive claim. So it means whatever recoveries, the salvage when sold will come to shareholders, will come to policyholders' account. Let's look at the difference between Takaful and insurance. Conventional insurance on my left in red, Takaful on my right in green. One salient difference is that ownership is by shareholders, where it's conventional. They lump all their income into one account. Whatever is generated by way of profit or by way of whatever belongs to shareholders. But with Takaful, ownership is by the participants. What Islam would want you to recognize is that money was brought into your pool by participants, by clients. So it belongs to them. It will ever remain their belonging. You cannot justify claiming ownership of profit at the end of the year. Risk transfer to insurers. With conventional practice, as I say, you go and transfer your risk to them and go to sleep and snore. So whatever happens is for their account. But with Takaful, you are not transferring the risk, but you are sharing among other participants. You realize that you stand to lose by fire, you stand to lose by traffic accident and all that. You go to Takaful, you are going to participate. So for your participation, when there is losses, it is our participation account which puts losers into the position they were before the loss. And whatever is generated by way of profit also belongs to them, participants. Now, the third salient difference is that surplus belongs to shareholders or the company with conventional. But with Takaful, surplus belongs to the participants. I'm privileged to have been speaking at the London International Takaful Forum in a particular year, because we should not continue to assume that we are alone in Takaful or Islamic finance. It is for its attraction. Others who may be non-Muslim, because Takaful is not just for Muslims, it's one of the virtues of Islam to mankind. So you may not be a Muslim today, you become a Muslim tomorrow. It doesn't matter. The principle is to all mankind. So we are saying some non-Muslims who found it to be a business-like thing would want to come to this forum and sell the idea that what you covered for is your risk, your losses. It's not an obligation on us to pay surplus or to go profit sharing. I could not stand it. I am not doing my Takaful for money. I have a passion for it. That's my life. I will stand up anywhere and defend it to say, no, do not come here to try to justify that there is a way that you can operate Takaful without sharing profit. That is one of the virtues. We have to. It's not yours. You cannot consume it in any way. So let's stick to that. Please, 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 don't confuse the funds and fail to pay zakat and profit sharing. We're looking at opportunities now. For its transparency and fairness, Islamic finance have become the fairest way to doing business in global economy. Its growth rate over the shortest possible time has been alarming. For its principle being Sharia compliant, the success of each product performance reflects positively to the sale of other Islamic finance products. Sukuk at Islamic banking has become the flag bearers, followed by Takaful. The big volume, Sukuk and Islamic banking. Everybody thinks Islamic finance is Sukuk or Islamic banking. No, we have other products, a lot more. But yet still they share the same principles, being Sharia compliant. So whoever is selling one must do it perfectly. Islamic finance products in general are not only for Muslims, and as such, its market will continue to grow rapidly. Islamic finance professionals must not miss this growth opportunity. It must be an obligation on all stakeholders to continue perfecting the products offered for more financial inclusion. What are the challenges that we have? The contract for Islamic insurance companies must be in conformity with Sharia. A Sharia board to guide operations is indispensable. It's been explained by other my predecessors in presentations that sometimes you may need to have the Sharia board at regulators level at central bank, but it's also an obligation that the operator has a Sharia board of a minimum of 3 people, professionals, whose role of the Sharia board is vital in meeting the specific demand of a public who would not have insured otherwise. Some products other than the compulsory motor insurance and all that, participants or potential participants shy away from insurance. But because there is a Sharia board, they have confidence coming to participate, and therefore the Sharia board must stand very firm to advise the operator on all the products that they are offering. Awareness, it is required from all Islamic finance market players to be actively involved with Islamic finance awareness creation as a cause with dedication and commitment. You are what you know, no matter how good our offers are. If we are not able to talk to our neighbors and get them to understand, they may always shy away from what we are offering. So, and awareness is lacking. We need to put our efforts together to create more awareness. Takaful capacity. Takaful entry to bigger and complex risks is highly dependent on Takaful operators. Capacity which is very limited compared to conventional reinsurance. There is need for Takaful capacity to be increased. Skilled human resources or Islamic finance professionals. The Takaful industry's rapid growth is not backed by required technical skills. That is human resources. Are people really going out to study Islamic finance so as to come and support this rapid growth rate? Investment options in accordance with Sharia principles are very limited. So that's why Sukuk is becoming more and more popular, because we don't tend to have enough compared investment opportunities. Challenges, lack of international standard regulatory framework. Imagine Takaful companies are mostly subjected to conventional regulations. We still have regulators in emerging markets who tend to confuse conventional rules to Takaful, and this is not helping. So together we need to come together to make sure that such markets are assisted to actually distinguish regulations that apply to conventional as well as regulations that apply to Sharia compliant finance. Regional Takaful institutions and organizations need to come together internationally in order to promote and standardize best practice within the industry. Islamic Finance Service Board, IFSB, Asian Takaful Group, ATG, International Takaful Associations, accounting and auditing organizations of Islamic finance institutions. We are saying they need to come together so that we have something of standard. National Sharia Board. The establishment of a National Sharia Board would have greatly curbed issues surrounding commissions, rates, and unhealthy competition among other operators and conventional practice. I pick on unhealthy competition. As a speaker said yesterday, Islamic finance must not be something that we operators have to be competing. There is need for us to support each other. I claim I've established 4 Takaful companies, but I'm still open, even in this small Gambia way, where we have 2 Takaful companies that are established. If any potential investor comes to establish Takaful today, all my support will be given. Because it's Islamic finance, we need to work together to spread it. We need to have healthy situations where you have any risk to write beyond your capacity. You call on other companies that are Takaful and share. Takaful or co-insurance, so that we also find ourselves with great challenges when it comes to fintech. There is need for fast development of software support systems to match the growth rate of Islamic finance. We need softwares to help or support our underwriting processes, our marketing process, our accounting and claims administration. So, but it appears to be a global challenge with very few markets that have gotten sophisticated systems that have survived the test of time. Conclusion. We say more cooperation between Islamic operators at international level is required. A better legal and regulatory environment. So they distinguish the two. They should not be confusing us. Better competence in Islamic finance. We need to have institutions ready to design curriculums that would, provide us with more HR or human resources or professionals. Accepted standard products. We discussed this after yesterday's presentation. We could not all come in, but the contribution to that presentation of yesterday from me would have been to say Islamic associations and professional groups probably needs to come together, where MUNFIQ Academy or an association, Islamic finance professionals, come to take it upon themselves to have a department for research and product development. Pick on the current ones in the market, see through them, get the central bank or the regulators to endorse it, and so that new companies that are coming are not left to suffer a long time getting their products approved. They can pick on these ones with your institutions, so that the regulators accept and agree and endorse that you can pick from these current ones, and it doesn't have to go back to them, delaying time to get it, to get it endorsed or to get it qualified. You pick from these institutions, and then, it's accepted. So you start with that. Tomorrow, when you want to bring in services that are not, you can still go to these institutions and share your thoughts with them so that they can develop it. This way, these institutions are backing up the development of Islamic finance and are also being paid for these products, research and product development at an agreed fee, so at a cost. Standardized software support systems, the need couldn't be overemphasized. More establishment of Islamic finance training institutions, in-depth Islamic finance regulations free of conventional influence. I keep repeating this because this is a situation that I find myself being a victim even in my own country. Sometimes they apply regulations which should have strictly applied to conventional and not Islamic finance. So together we should look at these areas. I, at this point, would like to take this opportunity to very much thank the organizers of this indispensable fellowship to our professionals. Dr. Abdullahi Isola, I would definitely like to be like you when I grow old. Live your passion in good health, increase wisdom and prosperity. Please remember me. Remember to give me a ride when you decide going to the moon from Africa, because I know it's possible with you. May the Almighty Allah grant you and us every success in this venture and all our endeavors. Trust we have benefited from the presentation. Jazakallah khairan, everyone. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Indeed, as it has been said that there is no better way of expressing appreciation in the best way other than saying Jazakumullahu khairan jaza. Indeed, this is another very motivating and mentoring session. It just happened that when I felt I was about to relaxing to start listening to the lecture, that's when it came to a conclusion. And I think that has been because it has been very, very informative, enlightening, and full of a lot of knowledge sharing. So we pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to reward you abundantly and to add this to the scale of your good deed, both here and the year after. And we pray that Allah preserve you upon goodness and grant you long life. Indeed, we are very, very grateful. And I believe we have all benefited immensely from this wonderful training session. This is indeed another master class which we are privileged to have. So we are indeed very grateful. Jazakumullah khairan. Let me quickly raise one or two issues before I call some of our mentors who are present here for their interventions. And thereafter, I will allow the mentees who have questions or comments to unmute themselves and ask their question. Now, sir, one of the areas that I really want you to also further shed light on is what does it take for one who aspire to be in the field of Islamic insurance Takaful. We have some of our mentees that are undergoing their undergraduate degree in insurance, and definitely because they are Muslims and they might have understood what it means to be in the practice of the non-Islamic insurance. So they will be aspiring to go into the Islamic insurance. So what do you have to say to them and every of the mentees that may be interested in the Islamic insurance sector?
Thank you very much for a very important question. I mean, it's like when you made a presentation on me, you say, I already had experience working in conventional insurance for 14 years. So that if you look at all the principles and practice, they are similar. When you underwrite fire insurance, all that you're looking for is what you do when you do fire Takaful. So the principles are the same. And also, therefore, the establishments would have followed the same pattern. You need to know the product offers of Takaful. Once you master them, depending on the regulation of your country. First, there was need to do a feasibility study, a marketing plan, so-called, where you would say, your company starts with this capital, your company will engage this number of professionals, and you also have this number of professionals to serve as Sharia board. And depending on the regulation of your country, these are things that you submit with a letter of intent of wanting to establish a Takaful company. The fit and proper tests on your staff will be done. On the proposed Sharia board will be done. And then the capital adequacy is also confirmed. And when they do the fit and proper is when they see your experience as to whether you'll be able to effectively and satisfactorily deliver when you're given license to start this. So basically, I mean, it's all about going all out for it with strong passion, identifying the products, or the need for such products to the market that you want to offer them. And these are actually products that have been also certified by your Sharia board. And when it goes to the regulator in the form of an application, it will be given to the National Sharia board also to scrutinize and approve. Basically, this will form part of the priorities of establishing a Takaful company, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. So let me call on some of our mentors who are present here to make their intervention before I call on others mentees. I'm trying to check through. Please, any of the mentors available can please indicate so that okay. I can see Brother Mudassir. So I hope I will have one intervention to make. Brother Mudassir, you can mute yourself. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Doctor, thank you so much for having me again. And the lecture has been wonderful. And we thank our honorable head of Takaful, because I call him head of Takaful in Nigeria because he was so instrumental to bringing Takaful to Nigeria. Thank you so much for the lecture, I must say. I want to ask some questions because the questions are very, very important, I feel. During the course of your lecture, you mentioned the differences between insurance and Takaful. But one thing I feel should also be added, or we need more clarity on, is the issue that when there is a claim, we have people that have forged claims. How do Takaful address this? Because it's very important. In the normal insurance that we have, you see people, because they feel that they will not have claim at the end of the year, they might even set their own station ablaze. They might, intentionally collude with people to steal their cars. So just to make sure that they get, refunded. So I believe, what provision does Takaful have? How do Takaful detect all these things? I believe that's number one. The second thing I want to add is to emphasize on the difference between the contribution and premium, because people get this confused easily. Even I think whenever you listen to lectures, you see that they sometimes refer to contribution as premium. So I want you to also elaborate on that so that everyone can also benefit from this. Thank you so much, Doctor. I really appreciate this. Jazakumullah khair.
Just before after you respond to that, I'm going to call Dr. Abidin for his intervention. Please, you can respond to that issues raised by Mr. Mudassir.
Thank you very much, Brother Mudassir. You're absolutely right. The questions would help us to cover and emphasize areas that we would have assumed is, understood. Claims handling are similar to conventional. But one can tell you that by experience, Gambia, Zambia, Nigeria, these markets that I have experienced establishing a Takaful in, is that there are less claims with Takaful than conventional, because the practice of fraudulent claims in conventional mostly arise as a result of the reason that you've given. I've been insuring for 5 years. I've never benefited from insurance. Let me go and connive with people to steal my car. Let me go and burn my car and all that. But Takaful actually, for the fact that when you do not suffer a loss, you stand to be given your share of profit, surplus at the end of the year. That is what is comforting people. So they are not angry. They want to make sure that they have paid and they are careful because they are part and parcel of the investment. Their surplus share is given to them. Islam is a complete and perfect way of life. Compare that to zakat. In your neighborhood, you are privileged to be able to pay your 4 square meals or 3 square meals a day. But your immediate neighbor is so deprived that they find it difficult struggling to eat. If they see you eat and then take all the remnants and go and pour it in the streets for them to pass and see when they are dying of hunger, they will always be wishing you to die of an accident. But of course, when you obey the principles of Sharia and make sure that out of that your wealth you give out zakat, they will always be praying for you to earn more, to get more so that there is more zakat. Also with conventional compared to Takaful, we say because we have profit sharing at the end of the period, they always want as participants to see us manage less claims because they want the system to be profitable because they have a stake in it. So that is one. Otherwise, fraudulent claims. Yes, some, despite whatever you promise them, are fraudulent in their life and they don't care. Right now, from inception of West Africa Takaful in 2022 now, the only outstanding claim that I have is a motor claim, which is actually a forged one because there was no police report, there was no pictures on the site of the accident. There actually the third party, the other vehicle involved with my participant is nowhere to be found, no indication of registration numbers and all that. And by the time we are sending our engineer to go and survey the accident, you had already ordered the parts through DHL from UK. And you want to place such a heavy amount. I said, no, we are in business to pay claims, but we have an obligation to protect the participants' fund. So we cannot just pay claims because it is Dr. Ishola and he is my mentor. I have to honor. No. Claims procedures in conventional and Takaful are the same. We have the same line of investigation. We have to make sure that everything surrounding a claim is confirmed to be genuine before we pay. Where there is an instance also, I would pay the claim of one of the banks even before they completed the documentation because, I mean, res is perlocutor. It was very evident that it was an accident. And to impress on them, we completed all the claims handling before David got all the police reports and that which was necessary. So that the other part of your question is contribution and premium. When I established the first Takaful in Gambia, I call it Takaful Insurance. You go to the London Takaful forum and everybody was challenging you, why are you using the word insurance? I say, all right, please excuse me. The main reason is that this is the first company in that part of the world, which is Takaful. If you leave it at Takaful, you have more challenge and more room to go out to advertise, to tell people what is Takaful. But by the time you use the word insurance attached to it, it guides the people to start thinking, oh, it's insurance related. But otherwise, we are saying everything that is Takaful has its own vocab. You should not confuse premium to contribution. Contribution always is to premium, but premium is the cost of transferring your risk to a conventional insurance system, whereby you are not, once you pay it out, you have no entitlement to it again. But contribution, of course, you are contributing, and therefore, whatever benefits is derived from that contribution, you stand to gain your share. So I think sometimes deliberately people put premium where their audience is to help them understand. But the professional or the accepted element for premium in Takaful must always remain contribution. you don't also have to mention Takaful insurance. It's double. It's like saying insurance. Takaful is Takaful. It's Islamic insurance. You either say Islamic insurance or Takaful, you know. So this is the situation, and I hope that clears your doubts. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you so much, sir. Let me call on Dr. Abidin for his intervention. And thereafter, I will want to call on Brother Ismail Yahya. He's also one of our mentors and is also present with us today.
Good.
Okay.
Happy.
Where is Dr. Abidin? I'm trying to, can you please raise up your hand, sir, so that I can allow you to unmute? Okay, sir.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Dr. Abdullah, for coordinating, and thanks so much to Mr. Juf Mamadou for the wonderful presentation and the contribution also earlier on by Brother Mudathir. Just a few comments. It's already an excellent lecture. I just wish that in the interest of our mentees, perhaps Mr. Juf would have time either in form of a document or something like that, since this presentation had held, or I wouldn't know if he's going to have another round. It would be helpful for the mentees to, have a glimpse of a product sheet. From experience, I realized that Takaful can be very abstract, but at times, some of these concepts, when they are explained, it makes them have a feel of what exactly we are talking about when, maybe a product sheet of some sort is, and shown along that. I do know that maybe Jais Takaful or any of the Takaful in Nigeria, if you go to their website, you definitely see some of their product sheets, and that may help to understand. The other thing I want to mention relates to the issue of card. I think perhaps I missed that part, or maybe it was not mentioned. That one, for that matter, because there are instances where claims also may be more than...
I think we had a loss of your voice there when you are mentioning courage.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I was talking about perhaps Mr. Juf
can you
would...
please open your video, sir?
I do understand. Go ahead. I do understand. Yes, go ahead, please.
Okay, yeah. So it gets the point. So maybe a further clarification on that would also help identify some of the advantages that Takaful offer maybe we will not find in a typical conventional arrangement. Then, yes, we have referred to a few IFSB standards. I think there are, like I said yesterday, not only IFSB, I think there are also other standard setting organizations. But for the IFSB, from a prudential point of view, there are a couple of standards which, again, are available for free. I would expect maybe participants would find time to look at those, the ones that relate to supervisory review process, that relates to guiding principles on Takaful, that relates on risk management in Takaful, solvency requirements, core principles. I mean, they can be quite heavy, no doubt, but there is no shortcut about it. You have made a very wonderful expression that you are what you know. And I think the interest in this particular mentorship program should transcend, these weekly lectures and, ending there. The way to it is, maybe that little extra effort to look at some of the documents out there. If they are abstract, it also helps the kind of question that participants would ask when presentations are made. So I would rather want to advise, if today's lecture is already gone, maybe for subsequent lectures, we can, as much as possible, look at documents relating to those presentations so that questions are more like, emanating from what we have read compared to what we have listened. So we'll be able to clear doubts as the case may be. In the case of Takaful, I think generally a lot of opportunities abound, like you said. As our last count, it still accounts for about 0.8%, less than 1% of the global Islamic financial asset, which is over 3 trillion. So Takaful, therefore, is very much under 30 billion, if my math serves me right. And what it means therefore is that it offers a lot of opportunity, not only because it provides protection of financial inclusion to participants, but the funds mobilized are also well interconnected because they buy sukuk and they also offer some form of liquidity and so on and so forth to the market. So it's a kind of interconnected system that at the moment is very, very shallow. In fact, in Nigeria, I think the density ratio is about 0.3% and the penetration rate is way less than 2%, if I'm not mistaken. So there is a lot of opportunities there. How abstract it may seem, but I think it's one aspect that we should really focus on. Lastly, you have touched on this aspect briefly, but I think it's also important to just emphasize the world itself is changing very fast. And one of the ways to accelerate the Takaful development would be through technology, like you have mentioned. And a lot of things are happening in that space. Of course, regulators are a bit hesitant. They are trying to ensure that regulation and innovation, innovation does not bring about financial instability. So there may be a bit of reluctance, but nonetheless, it's the way to go. Because a lot of things are happening. Now we have self-driving cars. So what happens? What type of insurance activity will take care of that? So we have 3D buildings, for instance, and some of these new things. So it will also require that as we build human capacity, beyond understanding the principles, like you have mentioned, it's also important we start thinking ahead. Like one day cars will run on water. So how do we get access to the Atlantic Oceans? If I can give that kind of explanation. So what I'm just trying to say is that even in the Islamic banking, we see that the institutions have legacy infrastructures and they are dwindling technology budget, but as time catches up with them, they will not have any choice than to move on. So as mentees, the message here is that beyond understanding the principle, we also have to start understanding how technology applies to those principles, because a lot of things are happening, and Islamic finance being what it is, provides a lot of things. Again, we talk of issue of algorithm and how we can personalize or general or have a kind of general product or policies that will bring forth without necessarily biasing or inadvertently excluding some people. We have issue of data protection and privacy issues. All are data related. So these kind of things would mean that participants, mentees should think ahead and be ahead of the game. It only makes us very, very strong. For you to stand out, you have to be outstanding. May Allah in His infinite rahmah give us success and bless this endeavors. Thanks so much, Mr. Mahmoudou. It's been a very excellent lecture. I've learned a lot from you, and may Allah reward you immensely. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullah khairan, sir. Mr. Mahmoudou, do you want to
yes,
respond there?
Thank you very much, Dr. Abidin. I will not miss your paper at all. You're a great guy. Thank you so much indeed. May Allah reward you. Jazakallahu khairan. Product sheet, yes. Just is rather like Dr. Ishola Abdullahi has done very well, leaving the sessions to be this long and open, so can discuss openly and tackle everything. But for the fact that my predecessor's time, I was being guided by time. I said it's so loaded that if I want to bring all those in, then we may run into difficulty with timing. But certainly, as you rightly advise them, they can always go to the websites of all of the Takaful companies like mine, like Jai's, like any other Takaful. While visiting their websites, you will see the products and the details like proposal form for motor, and the policy, receipts and everything is uploaded in our website. So that at some point, what we are doing is just a teaser for those interested to go in depth and take it from where we leave it to know more. Gadul Hassan, yes, there are instances where the portfolio or the participants' pool is not sufficient enough to pay liabilities for a particular year. So you're saying, what do? Do you call participants to say, hey, come, we need more money, you have to add? No. You were charged 10,000 naira to pay to cover a 1.2 million. If this 1.2 million is subjected to a total loss, we don't call on you to pay anything. The participants' pool must be healthy enough or strong enough to actually settle that claim. But there are instances, well, there are instances even, but it's just a measure, it's just a focus that where the situation arises, but it rarely happens really. I've not experienced it since I started for over getting to almost 20 years now. You don't usually have it, but where it happens that the pool is not enough to pay the liabilities, we take from the shareholders' capital. When you were starting the company in Gambia, you were subjected to coming up with a capital of 30 million. In Nigeria, what does the regulator or NICON require as capital? When you pay this, it would have been into shareholders' account, where the participants' account, which only starts to grow when you start operation by actually banking income. If it is less than what is expected of your obligation, you are borrowing from the shareholders' account. If the deficit is 3 million, you take 3 million from the shareholders' account and put it in the participant account to survive the claims at hand. But then 2 years, 3 years down the line, if the participant accounts grows to be surplus, grows to be profitable, and there is 10 million profit to share, before you distribute this 10 million, you would have paid back that 3 million, which was taken from the shareholders' account with no interest placed. You just pay back 3 million, and then you are left with 7 million at hand to distribute. This is what is meant by the Qadr Hassan. Showing products and all this technical material that we use also would definitely give the people a feel. That abstraction is your concern, is my concern. I just don't want us to have our mentees getting things abstract. So the more we are able to make it real to them, the better for the Islamic finance world. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Technology, yes, absolutely yes, absolutely yes. But then the development is on, maybe slow, but on. Even Nigeria now, you can buy your vehicle insurance using your mobile application. So that is what is expected. We really have to grow, especially when technology and engineers are designing more products, self-driven electronic, because you will get that insurance in Malaysia because they have these trains that are the monorail and all that. They are electronically driven for so many years now, and yet still they are covered. But it's just that in this part of the world, there is a lot that we need to do. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you so much. We need to run faster now because it's time for Zuhri here. So in the next 10-15 minutes, we should be rounding up. Let me call on Brother Ismail Yahya before I will read out some of the questions sent by the mentees quickly. Brother Ismail Yahya. Okay.
All right, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wanted to hide in the background because I want to believe I'm also a mentee in this insurance training, Takaful training. So that's why I think I really appreciate what Dr. Shola is doing here. And I really enjoyed, I mean, it's been a good opportunity for me to also learn more about Takaful. I think for one aspect that it's because of the trend these days that I will just focus on is the technology, right? I think we found a lot of Islamic fintechs that are developing these days that want to just focus on investment, right? Giving opportunities for people to be able to tap into Sharia compliant investments. But maybe if we have our creative-minded mentees amongst us that will look at opportunities that things like Takaful can create, opportunities than pensions using technology. I don't want to take much time, but I really appreciate everybody's feedback, especially from Dr. Abidin, right? I hope I'll consider myself a mentee, to be very sincere. So there's so much to learn. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jazakumullah Khaira. We are looking forward to your session too, inshallah. And quickly, let me also use this opportunity to appeal to our mentors that part of the design we have in this fellowship is for the mentees, not just to have the theoretical training. And that is why we have decided that we are going to group the mentees into different forums, which will be specific to their major areas of interest. And also, we also appreciate our various mentors who can support us by giving opportunities to some of the mentees to undertake their internship for this fellowship in the month of August. We have set aside the month of August as the period for internship as part of this fellowship. So I hope that some of our mentors will be magnanimous enough to, to admit some of the mentees to undertake their internship with them. It may be virtual internship or physical, depending on the location of the mentees and the accessibility to where the internship is to take place. So we will appreciate we will be reaching out to the mentors further on this, inshallah. Let me quickly read out some questions which have been sent because of time by the some of the in the chat box. Let me read out some of the questions. Okay. Starting with there is a question here that please, how will claim be settled? I hope Mr. Mohammed is with me.
I'm with you fully, Doctor.
Okay, so I will be reading out the questions, then you will respond to them at once, please. So the first one is, how will claim be settled or damaged assets be reimbursed in contributory or Takaful, where contribution so far is not enough to replace the damaged asset? That's the first question here. Then there is another question that how does the Takaful operator ensure that there are sufficient number of participants to make a policy work? Then how does the operator pay surplus to participants? Do participants pay contributions yearly? So he said, I'm herebound. One brother may do me favor of posting the answer to my question to MUNFIQ in case I made the response. Okay, the person is, okay. The person can watch the video later. How can we reach out to your Takaful company for its Takaful products? So how can we link up with Islamic Insurance in Nigeria? I think Brother Mudathir has shared some information about the Takaful insurance previously. So he will share with me again, and I'm going to share on the platform. So I would like to know if Takaful is accepted for third-party motor vehicle insurance in Nigeria. Can you, okay, are there insurance policies that don't exist in Takaful? I hope you understand this. Are there insurance policies that don't exist in Takaful?
Yes, we will go ahead. I'm noting.
Okay. So I think that's all I have here. I don't think there's any other question that I've omitted. So you can please respond to the questions.
Okay, thank you very much indeed, Doctor. Thank you so much. Good questions. Assets damage. Dr. Ismail Yahya actually had answered that. I'm sure the question was written before Dr. Ismail Yahya's question.
Sorry, sir. Just quickly, let me call on this person that raised up hand, because I want us to round up so that you respond to everything at once. So Mr. Rafiu Showale, please unmute yourself and make your contribution briefly, please.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Okay. I'll start by appreciating the lecturer. So quickly, my question, I think part of it has been answered, but the one I want to emphasize is the issue of trust on the part of the participants, because one of the I happen to market conventional insurance. One of the challenges that prospects always doubt if the insurance company will pay, from the experience that the insurance company usually raises up a lot of issues that eventually they will not pay. Do we have this issue of trust in a Takaful? That's number one. Then secondly, the issue of one of the challenges you identify is that, if I got it right, that there's no enough Islamic friendly investment that Takaful company can invest money on. And this is one of the issues that we usually experience in Islamic banking generally, which why they usually patronize like Sukuk. So my question is, because you said that, necessity is the mother of invention. Can't the Takaful company create their own investment instead of searching for Islamic friendly investment? Can they create their own investment portfolio that is Islamic friendly? Thank you. Those are my questions.
Okay, thank you very much. And there's also a question that what is Takaful and how does it work? Then whether life insurance is available in Takaful. So you can respond now.
All right. Thank you so much. It's a lively program. Like I started saying on the damaged assets, certainly my brother had written the question before Dr. Ismail's intervention. That is covered by Radul Hassan. That is, if there is a loss which actually is more than what funds are available in the pool, what happens is that we take from the shareholders' capital of the company to make sure that the participants' account is funded enough to settle such a claim. So that is answered. The operator, how does the operator also make sure that there are enough participants in the pool? That is, certainly area of interest to marketing. That is where we say we need to create more awareness, and we take it an obligation on all professionals on Islamic finance to educate and create awareness. Law of large number works everywhere. If you are charging just 10,000 for a risk of 1.2 million, the question is how far would you go in getting more participants to be able to settle claims that come your way? In any case, that is all about how much noise you are able to make, how much representation you can get into society, and make yourself well heard and understood so you have more participation. Remembering that because surplus is distributed, participants to Takaful have an obligation to also make sure that they join part of marketing to bring more people into the pool. The surplus formula, how do we distribute profit? Profit is, there is a formula which says profit to you, Dr. Isola's profit is contribution over total contribution collected over the year times the declared profit. That is to say, if Dr. Abdullahi paid 10,000 naira and what we have collected is 100 million, his contribution is 10 over 100 million times the declared profit. The declared profit, reinsurance cost is removed, claims are settled, management expenses settled, and you are out of that 100 million, you are left with something like 45 million profit. So Ishola's share of that will be 10 over 100 times the 45. This is going to give you a very fair, proportionate system where Dr. Ismail Yahya's contribution is 20,000. It will be 20,000 divided by the 100 million times the declared 45 million. So you realize with this formula, the one who paid 10,000, if he is getting 3,000 back, the one who paid 20,000 will be getting 6,000 back. That's the formula for profit sharing. Non-existing products. Is asking, are there products which are not existing in Takaful? Yes, all Takaful products must be Sharia compliant. So you cannot call us to come and insure the National Lottery of Nigeria, their bureau and assets. Whatever is there, we're not interested because it's gambling. And certainly it's not just for Muslims. The Bible also shies away from gambling. It's not allowed. So we are not to insure anything which is haram, which is not in compliance with Sharia. So you cannot also invite us to come and insure your store of alcohol and all that. These are non-existing products in Takaful. Trust from participants. Remember, participants have a more genuine reason to trusting Takaful than conventional, in the sense that Takaful is more regulated. Takaful has Takaful operation is regulated. The management is regulated by a board. You report to the board quarterly income and all that, and you have to explain. The board also is still advised by the Sharia board on the compliance of your products. And then you have the regulator. So we have 3 levels of regulation, whereby conventional is only answerable to the conventional regulator. That's it. But we are more guided. The other thing is that the issue of trust is more with Takaful, in the sense that the accounts are separated. We say our model, which is approved by the regulator, is a 30-70% sharing. So income, we take 30% and bank into our account. 70% we bank into the participant's account. So when there is a claim, Takaful pays faster than conventional because they are paying from that 70% participants' account, which does not belong to us. Where the conventional are successful in not paying a 1 million claim, then that 1 million goes back to be part of the profit for shareholders. But with Takaful, where we fail to pay a 1 million, it doesn't come to us as shareholders or as a company. It remains with the participants' accounts for distribution, so that we have no cause to refuse settling claims which are genuine. Anyway, we are obligated to make sure that claims we pay are genuine. Okay, investment avenues. Yes, investment avenues are a challenge to Islamic finance. We see ourselves with Islamic banks going to invest into sukuk and all that, but depending on the product, if you have life in Takaful is family, if you have a lot of funds in the family account, that means it's long-term. These are long-term investments. So you can go into low-income house schemes. You can go into sponsoring a group of market women to just like Osusu, where you give them a 50,000 loan, 5 of them group would work and settle this. So when they settle, you give another person 50, but together. So there are so many avenues that we can create, but it depends on the product, because certain products would be turnaround time. They are short term, they are annual products, and claims you frequently pay claims and all that. So the regulator may not allow you to use such funds for long-term investments, So Takaful, we say, is like, if you know reinsurance. Insurance companies, any insurance company, Takaful or conventional, does not bite more than it can chew. You say insurance will bite that which it can chew and digest. So that here, what you are saying is that when you start up the first year of Takaful, you do not get your license from the regulator and all that. And then you are faced with insuring a presidential jet in Nigeria, and you say this presidential jet and passenger liability is too much for us because we are only 1 year old. No. You do not also, as a regulator or as a consumer, say, oh, that company is still too very new, I cannot insure with them. No, you would have been making a wrong judgment. The insurance is licensed after a fit and proper. The capital adequacy is confirmed. The people behind the company are confirmed to be the right people. So therefore, they go in to buy a contract or an agreement, sign an agreement with Takaful or reinsurance. These are companies that insure, only insurance companies. They don't insure other than insurance companies. The way participants come to participate is the way we go to Takaful to get them give us a financial backing. It could be in the form of quota share, where they say, all right, for every risk you write from today, take 70% of the risk, I would take 30% of the risk, and we will back you up with 70%. Meaning, you write a risk of 100 million. The 30 million is what you are retaining in your accounts. The proportional contribution part for the 70 million must go to Takaful. But the good thing is that Takaful will understand that you do the running around to market. So they in turn give you 35% commission. So 35 plus the 30 that you retain would give you 65. And yet still when there is a loss, they are coming with 70%. So it's a bit technical. And we could have had scenarios on them and all that, like Brother Abidin said. But you see, this cannot just come from, we just tease your mind so that you take it as a way to start going into proper research into Takaful or Islamic finance. I hope in brief, this answers the question, sir. Dr. Abdullah, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you. Jazakumullahu khairan. I think Mr. Mudassir, I think he has an intervention to make quickly. And thereafter, I'll call on Brother Ablatif to please share the certificate. Brother Mudassir.
Okay, assalamu alaikum. So thank you so much. I just want to add to what has been said. I think we need to also, because of the mentees, we think about how can they enter into the Takaful industry, because it's very, very important. I mean, the agency approach being used by the now Takaful companies, we feel that needs to also be reviewed, and also to make sure that we encourage, because it's much easier for anyone to be an agent of Takaful and start learning about Islamic finance from there, but engaging with people, lectures like this and other things. So I believe, I mean, it's very important to also stress that, and that's what I just want to say, inshallah. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brother Mudassir. Part of the effort we are looking at is to reach out to the various Takaful companies to invite them to come and have sharing sessions with the mentees, to tell them what they do, how they can be involved, how they can benefit from them, their products and all that. So I think you can also assist us in that regard. So we will look for a session where they can just have 30 minutes to also share their activity services and what they do with the mentees, and how they can also engage the mentees. So we will discuss further with you on that, inshallah. On this note, let me thank our facilitator mentor for today's session. Jazakumullah khairan. We are indeed very grateful. Kindly put down your slide while I call on Brother Ablatif to share the certificate. So you can please stop the screen sharing from your side. Okay. Thank you, Jazakumullah khairan. Brother Ablatif. Is Brother Latif there? Okay, please share the certificate. Oh, okay. Let me allow you to share. Okay. Please do share now. Okay. On behalf of the MUNFIQ Academy, Nigeria, we cannot say the Nigeria. So on behalf of the MUNFIQ Academy, Nigeria, so this certificate of appreciation is presented to Mr. Mohamedou Musa Diouf for his immense contributions and support as a mentor and facilitator in the 2023 fellowship of the MUNFIQ Islamic Finance Mentorship Scheme, and especially for mentoring the participant on the module Islamic Insurance Takaful, Opportunities and Professional Requirements. Thank you so much. This is a token way of showing our appreciation, and we hope you will accept it from us. Jazakumullah khairan.
Thank you very much. Once again, this is highly appreciated, and we very much thank the organizers and continue to pray for all stakeholders, the organizers as well as mentees, to have continued blessed information and knowledge from the venture. Together, we have to take it an obligation to move Islamic finance to a higher level. Jazakallah khairan. Thank you so much.
Amen. And I hope if you have any mentee interested in coming to the Gambia for their internship, they will be welcome.
Yes, indeed, very much. Everybody that wants to come is highly welcome, and we make sure that you will appreciate that the Gambia is known as the smiling coast of West Africa. Throw your bag from the beach and go anywhere, very peaceful, nothing, absolutely. Once you are in today, you are part of us today. All right, inshallah.
Okay, so that's vital information for the mentees. Jazakumullah khaira. Please, let's recite Surah Al-Asr to end this session, while I'll be calling on everybody to open their video so that we can have some short snaps. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت ونتوب إليك والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.